Well, we don't have a lot tonight, just the Supreme Court's important ruling. President's actions on Russia and Ukraine. More on this $40 million raised to assassinate President Trump. 80% of the American people support what the president did with Iran. The Biden auto pen pardons. This is unbelievable. Georgetown University just signed a 10-year extension with Qatar. Now, keep in mind, Georgetown is like a feeder school to the government. Gruesome Newsom, big-time donor in his pot farms. Child labor on these pot farms, at least one of them. There's a lot going on. A lot going on. Now, yours truly, if you listen to yours truly, and you do, and I appreciate it over the years and even over the past days and weeks, we have our heads screwed on tight here. We're not into conspiracies and collusions and all the rest of it. I've explained to you that there are people out there who claim to represent Make America Great Again when they keep trashing America. And apparently they want to make Qatar and Iran and Russia great again, and of course they've never been great in the first place. Many of them are deeply anti-Semitic. Many of them are deeply hostile to the United States and our own national security and military, while pretending to be otherwise. And they are now in the business of trying to damage the Trump presidency. I'm extraordinarily proud of President Trump and the Trump presidency. We have a man in this office who has courage, the courage of his convictions. He has principles. He's made promises. He's trying to implement each and every one of them despite the deep state, despite the drama queens and kings in Congress, despite these phony influencers. I don't even know what an influencer is, but the media is now telling us who influences us and who we should listen to. Should we listen to somebody who's paid for hookers and had sex with a 17-year-old? Should we listen to somebody who has had more positions than the happy hooker without the happy part? Who makes nice with some of the worst genocidal maniacs on the face of the earth? Is that an influencer to you? Somebody who has 15 hours of tape with Epstein but won't release it while he's beating his chest about Pam Bondi? What do you think of that one? Hat tip to Roger Stone, by the way. Donald Trump is a wise man. You and I don't believe, and never will, all the hype around those attacking him. Whether it's the radical Democrat Party media, the Hamas-supporting Al Jazeera American Heat media, whether it is the Democrat Party that hates America and embraces the Islamists and the Marxists, whether it is these diabolical isolationist Jew haters, they all attack our president. All of them. Some of them to pretend to be journalists. Some of them pretend to be MAGA. Whatever they pretend to be, whatever camouflage they wear. What I do here and what this format's for, and here and Blaze and on Fox, steady Eddie. Our principles, our beliefs, our values. I do everything I can to make sure I don't let you down. Even if we have a disagreement of an opinion, we have a disagreement of an opinion. So what? But my goal is not to damage this president. The goal of many is to damage this president. Because they're grifters. Because they need the hits. They need the clicks. They need the eyes. They need the subscribe. They need whatever the hell they need. The Democrat Party wants absolute one-party control. That's what they want. And they'll do anything to get it. Whether it's to back a Islamist, Marxist, and so forth and so on. The president has done and is doing is historic. It's iconic. And you'll notice he's winning more and more in the Supreme Court, that we were right. We were right all along, as was the administration, about these rogue judges. It's not because the Supreme Court is in his back pocket. Hardly. Hardly at all. It's because these rogue judges are in the back pocket of the Democrats. That's why. And this latest one in L.A., whose name I cannot pronounce, not out of rudeness, I just can't. I told you last week, she's a disaster. She will be overturned, claiming that the ICE raids and so forth are racially based. The law is, ladies and gentlemen, I went back and looked at the court, and what the court had to say about this. Race can be a part of these roundups as long as the purpose isn't race. So in other words, we know there are ethnic communities, right, Mr. Producer? Well, you don't go into the German community when you're looking for MS-13 gang members, do you? You don't go into Amish country, do you, when you're looking for Venezuelan gang members, do you? And so this is understood. But if your purpose is to go after Hispanics to the exclusion of other people or that sort of thing, that's unconstitutional. That's not what they're doing. In fact, this last time around, as in most of the times, they have a court order, a warrant to do exactly what they did. A federal warrant. But that wasn't good enough. The Democrat Party doesn't believe our immigration laws should apply to what they hope will be future Democrats. And so they're destroying our country. And I'm telling you right now, we were not wrong. If Donald Trump hadn't been elected president, it would be over. And God knows what will happen after he's gone. But for the 4 years he's here, while we may have quibble here and there, the fact of the matter is this is a good man doing a great job. It's a great man doing a great job. We won't see the likes of him ever again, I don't believe. And so when I see these Lilliputians, the fake MAGA, attacking our president, when I see the hate America Democrats, when I see the Al Jazeera Pravda media doing the same thing, yes, you can rely on me to expose them and to push back. And I'll continue to do so. I'll tell you something funny as a footnote. As you all know, wasn't exactly silent about it in that Republican primary in 2016. That was a tumultuous primary. Of course, I didn't know Donald Trump at that time. I backed Ted Cruz, who I'd known a long time, and Mr. Conservative, who, by the way, would make a great president. And you and I, we did this together. As soon as the primary was over, we endorsed Donald Trump. We didn't twiddle around and wait around. He gave a great speech in Gettysburg. I remember that speech. Remember that speech, Rich? It was solid, so solid. And I encouraged all Levinites, all conservatives, to get behind him and get behind him early and quickly. And during the course of that tumultuous primary, Roger Stone took a pretty big shot at me. And I responded and I said, all right, that's it, I'm never Trump. Because it was my understanding that Roger Stone was a consultant to Donald Trump. Donald Trump called me and said that's not the case. The next day I withdrew it. But they keep focusing on that. And by the way, I like Roger Stone. I very much do. I don't know him very well. But what he had to put up with that SWAT stuff in the middle of the night, I like him. I like him. Again, I don't know him very well. But so what? In any event, I was talking to the president the other week or so, and he was kibitzing with me. And I'm not talking out of school. We've discussed this before, he and I. He said, yeah, he was talking about people early on, just kidding around. And he has a tremendous sense of humor. He really is a funny guy. He said, I remember you back cruise and you got mad at me. I said, what was that? Well, you got mad at me because, I mentioned his father and Oswald and so forth. I said, well, yeah, I got mad. I seem to recall Rush got mad. And he said, but I also remember you were one of the fastest after that was over to endorse me. I said, well, Mr. President, I didn't know you at all at any time prior to my endorsing you. And he laughed and laughed, and so did I. And we've been fast friends. My wife and he have been fast friends ever since. I'm telling you this for a reason. As never Trump. But I don't have to defend myself. I speak out about these issues all the time, and if there's a disagreement, I will mention a disagreement. But as I've told you before, it's like with your own family and friends. If there's a disagreement, you state your disagreement and your rationale for it. But you don't then lead a campaign trying to destroy somebody or divide his base or undermine him or grab headlines with the left-wing media. When you see headlines involving me, whether it's at Mediaite or the Drudge Report or places like that, that's because they make the headlines. I don't talk to anybody at Mediaite. I don't talk to anybody at the Washington Post. I don't talk to any of these people. Any of them. It's the truth. Why should I? I don't trust them. I talk to you right here. So if there's a headline that says Levin says this or Levin's fighting, it's them making the headline. It's not me involved in it. Everything I say is public. It's right here or on the Blaze or on Fox or on my social sites. Is that not the case, Mr. Producer? Everything is out there. I don't go behind the president's back or my friend's back and do that sort of thing. Unfortunately, too many people do, especially if they're in Washington or especially if they spend a little time in Washington. That's the coin of the realm, to speak out of both sides of your mouth. And we're not wasting any time here with the Epstein stuff. We haven't wasted any time with the Epstein stuff from day one. From day one. The former Prime Minister of Israel, Bennett, he'd have put out a statement. Because of what was going on over the weekend, I think it was at Turning Point. One person after another talking about this stuff. Or at least many. And he said, this is a lie. When I was Prime Minister, Mossad reported to me. Neither Mossad nor the State of Israel has ever supported, embraced, funded Epstein. We have no connection to him whatsoever. And he said people who are spewing this are absolute liars, which is something I've explained because they don't present anything. They present no evidence. And their answer is because it's being hidden from us. Nobody's hiding anything. Period. So we've wasted exactly no time on any of this conspiracy stuff. And what I'm encouraging you to do is, especially over the last 2 months, whether it's been Iran and Israel, whether it is this Epstein stuff, whatever it is, by now you should be able, you have enough information on your own, to separate the kooks from the serious people. The people who don't respect you and seek to play you, and those of us who have nothing but respect for you.